dedicate the evening to a friend of some of ours who passed away this past year, named Don Schmoll. Many of you may remember him, and also Ray Corona. Both of them passed away over the last year.
And Tyrone.
But I don't think anyone knows Tyrone. Tyrone is this fellow who sings at St. Mark's Church, who passed away just a couple weeks ago. So, but anyway, I wanted to dedicate the evening to them. Also, I just wanted to say a few pieces of good news about what's happening with the world, and also kind of talk about what's coming up. Maybe just maybe we could all kind of share what's going on for us also after that. But a few interesting things have happened. We the World, as you know, does this thing called 11 Days of Global Unity, and this past year we've had some breakthroughs in that area, with that program, and I wanted to tell you about that. So 11 days happens from September 11th through September 21st, and this past year we had some amazing new partners. Anyway, I wrote some stuff down, but it doesn't matter. One of the partners that has been working with us, and they had a breakthrough this year too. It's called the Compassion Games. Anybody hear of the Compassion Games? Nobody heard about it, right? So the Compassion Games decided a few years ago to move their Compassion Games to the 11 Days of Global Unity in September, and they basically have these games where people do community service and they add up the hours of community service. So they compare that, and those are the games. And this past year, they had 190 teams playing the Compassion Games all over the United States and some other countries. They had a total of 25,000 volunteers, which is really amazing. They raised like $500,000 for causes in their local areas. So anyway, it's really great. Another new partner is the Belief Team. How many people know about a series that's on the Oprah Winfrey Network called Belief?
Yes.
How many people? You've heard of it? Yeah, a few people. Okay, so they also had to promote the the Belief series. They had healing and compassion events during the 11 Days of Global Unity, from September 11th through the 21st. And so they are like our newest big partner, and it's been really amazing working with them. And it's also great because Oprah is involved. So that's really nice. And Steffi and I have been enjoying watching the series. It's on this whole week, so you can watch it at I think it's at 8 o'clock on the Oprah Winfrey Network, which for us it's channel 173 on Time Warner. So another breakthrough is in working with the Shift Network. The Shift Network has been producing the last year and this year. We co-produced the 11 Days Telesummit with people speaking on each of the 11 themes of the 11 days. So what we found out just a couple of weeks ago is that the number of people who signed up for the 11 Days of Global Unity Telesummit this year is over 15,000 people, which was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And so it's starting to get a nice momentum. I hope they're getting it. Are they getting a table?
We're okay.
You're okay? Okay.
There's room.
Okay, good. So, so anyway, so that's been really great. We still have yet to reach out to those 15,000 people. I mean, they sent me a whole database with these people, and most of them are new people, which is amazing. So I'm really excited to reach out to them, tell them about next steps. So, and that's what I want to talk about now. As many of you know, or probably every person in this room knows, there's a crisis happening out there. There's an economic crisis. People are having a really hard time, making ends meet. People are getting pushed out of their homes. They're getting pushed out of their neighborhoods, their businesses.
So Sharon.
That's right. It's heavy duty. I heard. I couldn't believe. I heard that there's a studio in Brooklyn, is a small studio apartment in Brooklyn is going for over $3,000 a month. It's getting out there. It's really getting out there. But as we all know, 1 out of 5 children in this country, the richest country in the world, goes to sleep hungry, and it's crazy, And there's this whole rising inequality that's happening, right? And the middle class is collapsing. More and more money is getting poured into Washington, D.C., and the Koch brothers are committing to spending something like $900 million just for 2 of them, 2 people, to influence the elections, right? So, but there are shockwaves as a result of this inequality that's going on. I mean, there's rising homelessness in New York. It's like record high now. 50,000 people are homeless. There's rising domestic violence and suicides. I mean, because the pressures, it's like a pressure cooker for
Not to mention all the guns all over.
And the guns, right. So, and people are starting to blame each other. This is what happens when there's an economic crisis. People start blaming each other. People are blaming different ethnic groups. People are blaming immigrants and migrants. All of this. So okay, you're all aware of this, right? So, but the question is, what can we do about it? What can be done? So, some of us believe that things are not going to get substantially better until change makers and grassroots movements come together in ways that they haven't done yet. So
We come together.
We come together, exactly. Because there's been fragmentation, right? So all these people working in different areas and doing great work, but they're not working together. So We the World has a strategy and a plan to actually make that happen. And we're starting to do it. So I want to talk about that. It's very exciting. Part of the plan is to create unprecedented cooperation and coordination between the people who are working for a better world. And we have programs that we feel are really game-changing, like the Renewable Energy Media Campaign and movement, which can allow people to know how they can plug in to help us to move away from fossil fuels and towards non-polluting energy sources. And if we actually were to make that transition, we could be hiring literally millions of people who are now in poverty or out of work to help make this transition. And there are so many things that can be improved because of this, because there are so many people that die from pollution that's happening, right? So this would have so many different ramifications, slowing down climate change, bringing people out of poverty, ending the influence of oil on geopolitics, which, as you know, is at the root of why many of the countries are in conflict and at war. And as you know, ISIS gets most of its funding from selling oil. So,
Are you aware of it?
so then there's also another groundbreaking program that we are developing is called the We Party, which could change the political landscape. Imagine.
No more Green Parties, the We Party, right?
Well, the Green Party could be part of the We Party, or we could support the Green Party. Anyway, so these programs can only happen if we put together teams to make these happening, and we are starting to do that, and I want to tell you about that. And I want to introduce some of the people who are actually working on this. So I'll start with
kind of helping to mobilize people and look at the databases of who's on the list and figuring out how to harness all the energy that's there and how to utilize it. That started shifting over to social media of trying to harness those platforms. Facebook and Twitter has been started on there. And now that's shifted a little bit more to building a new website for the 11 days and trying to get the outward appearance of what's being put out on card to other organizations and what people have come to expect from when they look at a website and they start to look up something that they want to be a part of. So that's been my involvement to this point.
Okay. Thank you, Abba. And Robert, do you want to say a few words? Robert has been working with us.
Good evening, everyone. I've also had the pleasure to be working with Rick these last few years on a number of endeavors. And because of the exciting work he's doing with the We Party and the We Campaign, we knew this is really the way forward, forming the partnerships. So that's exactly what we're doing. Using the website, Abba's working so hard on and doing such great work. We are starting to reach out, taking those resources, because ultimately, if we're going to change the world, it is we doing that work. So we're reaching out to volunteers, getting people actively involved to work together to then take on the challenge. And we're also looking at how to raise funds, because we do want to get the word out. And with the more funds we have, we can spread the word, we can get more volunteers, and we're going to start to see a sea change in the country and in the world.
Yeah, thank you. So, yes, just following up on what Robert said, we feel that by launching these programs, we could actually begin to influence public opinion and public political will, really, in the run-up to the 2016 elections. And at the same time, we would be laying a foundation for the creation of real and lasting change for peace and sustainability as we go forward in the coming years. So other people are working on this too. I wanted to introduce Catherine Davis. You've been working with us too. And why don't you talk about what you're doing with WBAI and your own work of Heart of Mind as well.
Okay. Well, I've been working with Rick on doing outreach to people with names that we might recognize. Because there are a lot of stars like Susan Sarandon and other people who are very active and have a reasonably high level of awareness and consciousness about justice and other kinds of issues. So I'm working to connect those people into the We campaign so that they could perhaps enjoy a greater influence in what they do. It may be easy for a famous person to get a media story, but they can't really connect with people on a grassroots level. So this would give them the opportunity to realize that they can have a deeper impact by connecting with the We campaign because it has so many people connected to it. And then that way they can have perhaps a greater influence. And of course the trade-off is we hope that they would spread the word about what's being done on the We campaign and hopefully help to fundraise for it. And on my own, from my own perspective, I produce a radio program.
If you can speak a little louder so they can hear you too.
Sorry, I do a radio program for WBAI Radio and the Progressive Radio Network. It's called Heart of Mind, and another one is called Health Action. So it's about conscious spirituality, health, policy, and so it's a way of trying to connect to, I guess, grassroots community in New York would be listening to those radio stations. So I do that. I'm also an energy healer and a Qigong teacher. And I have a healing center in Brooklyn.
And what?
I have a healing center in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Healing space.
Do you want to tell people your website? Shout it out.
I have two, heartofmindradio.com and qigongonline.net.
All right.
Organization that promotes the embodiment of peace. So what we do is we go out in public places with boxes full of bungee cords and music, and we invite perfect strangers, passers-by, to connect to each other in the name of peace. Rick was at our last event in Union Square. And what happens is very interesting because we know that we're all connected, or many of us know, but to know it or to experience it physically is a different thing. And so what happens when people have a rope around their waist, which is what they usually do, and then ropes tying them to other people, emotions come up, things happen, things change. And when we were in Union Square this year, we had boxing matches right next to us.
Just by accident. There.
By coincidence or synchronicity or whatever. And there was a moment where it looked like we could not connect for peace because there was so much rowdiness next to us with the boxing matches. But finally we actually outlasted them. And the organizer of the boxing matches came and joined our circle and bowed, and he was a very nice guy, just different energy. So the plan for next year is to do a tour of these events. Every year I've been doing them in New York and in Beirut, Lebanon. But the idea for next year would be to do a tour of several cities. And some hosts are coming forth. Rick has been a big help in being there and spreading the word.
Okay, thank you, Jima. Ahmed, you want to say a few words about what you've been doing with We and what you're doing with You?
What have I been doing with We? Well, my background is primarily in film production, coordinating events, and I met Rick many years ago.
What's your name again?
Ahmed, A-H-M-A-D. So Rick grabbed me and he told me that we have a lot of these big events that we need to help and we need to get it out into the media and into the world. And by the grace of the Almighty, I have a lot of relationships in television and film production. So I was able to bring my team on board and help produce, cover, film, promote, broadcast a lot of the events that we did over the last many years. The 11 days, events that are involving International Day of Peace, the Peace Conference, to a lot of other events that are related to similar events that go on through the course of the year. Personally, I started a campaign about 7 years ago, which is basically a global anti-poverty initiative where I involved a lot of A-list celebrities and we broadcasted a lot of PSAs in different languages all over the world. And so Rick supported that initiative that I was doing, and that's currently still going on. And I use the bigger the celebrities, the larger the voice, the bigger the media presence, so we're able to take their voice and project it on a larger scale. And I have another project I'm doing now, which is more domestic, actually a national anti-bullying campaign. The name of the campaign is called I Am Worthy. And I have a couple of stores, which are sneaker stores, they're all called Worthy. So every month we do events there with kids regarding different issues that affect the bullying problem that we're having, especially in like middle schools and elementary schools where kids don't have any outlets. When we were younger and we were bullied, we went home and it was all over. Today there's no home. There's always a cell phone, there's always technology, there's always something. Cyberbullying doesn't end. So it's created a huge problem. So I try to create a lot of campaigns and events to help support the kids and give them some kind of outlet. So in a nutshell, that's some of the things we're doing, and thanks to Rick, we've been able to promote it on a global scale. Thank you.
Interested in what I like to say, for me, the accesses to peace are participatory arts, public space, community, joyful events, and positivity. So clearly, I spoke earlier to Jumana, and it was so nice to see that we were in the same vein, you know, the kinds of things that we wanted to do, using public space and public places. And it was, I don't know if anyone was able to participate in the human peace sign event.
Oh, yes.
Yoko Ono.
That was great.
Woo! Yoko Ono
2600.
was behind. Yeah, we didn't quite break the record that she wanted, but it was supporting the John Lennon Foundation, which does music training in schools and provides a lot of high-level music engineers to work with really talented people in the schools. So the idea of, once again, of using art. So it was great. I was at that event along with Andrew.
2600 people.
Along with Andrew in the East Meadow, and I was being interviewed by German television, and I really saw how the things that Peace Museum New York is committed to was really what was happening right there. Once again, participatory art. We're creating a peace art together. Public space. We're in Central Park. Community. We're creating community. It's a joyful event. It's positive. So it was very much, it just reinforced my desire to collaborate and work with Yoko Ono, which I'm working on as well. So right now, Peace Museum New York does a monthly peace bike ride. So if anyone is a cyclist, we know that biking is so good for our environment, creating community, creating cycling infrastructure all over the city. So that's one of the things that Peace Museum New York has been working on, as well as working with a participatory art event that happens on Governor's Island every year called Figment. So if people are familiar with Figment, it's a wonderful arts event there. And I have a personal vision that there would be some kind of national peace monument or peace museum on this wonderful island as a gateway to Manhattan that actually right now has 3 forts, 3 military constructions that in order to transform that island into like a peace island or a peace museum would be
That
wonderful.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Andrew has been working with We the World for many years, and he's also been producing the World Peace Earth Day celebration for, it's going on its
10th year.
10th year!
10th anniversary.
Yeah, so do you want to say a few words?
Yes, actually, I would love to share a song that I wrote today. How about that? I guess that could be in honor of you. It's called Peace and Love, and you can all join in. The chorus goes, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. That's the chorus, right?
Perfect.
It's really fun. Gonna wake up in the morning, shine on my glowing coat. Gonna find that peace inside me that's caught on any chatter within. Peace and love. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. There's a rock in my pocket, it helps me sleep at night. By day I place it in that glowing coat of mine. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. When I walk down the pavement, I shine my light within. With the sun that shines my way. With the sun that shines my way. Smiling to the old lady and help her cross the street. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. I look down the subway, see a musician with a guitar. I thought I heard him sing this song that I just wrote inside. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. As the day goes on at bay, I look within my heart and make sure it keeps a beating with my light shining bright. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. When I get caught up in a whistle that rubs me some wrong way, I look within and take a long breath and let it go and let it in, let it out and let it go. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. When the day turns to nightfall, I reflect on what has been. When I see some note was sour, I turn it sweet within by the lesson at hand. Peace and love, peace and love,
The song
peace
will
and
never
love. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Gotta find that peace, forgive the way I break down. Gotta ease the mind and settle down that noise. Have gratitude when my chin is high for all the highs and lows that teach my every step. My mind is clear when I take a deep breath. Go within my soul, take out the gook that don't belong. Peace and love, 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 peace and love. We all need that tender love and that love that's deep inside. When we cannot find it, we gotta mend that hurt, we shine our shoes. Peace and love, 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 and shine your light bright.
Thank you.
For our talk today, but I actually debuted at the New Life Expo yesterday for the first time, and Catherine Davis, I've been, thank you so much for all the support you've given me, and please come to the Earth Day next year with Rick Ulfik, and here's Alan Steinfeld. He's been host of all my Earth Day events.
All right, Alan.
Company or business, but philosophy is called New Realities. It's about changing worldviews, and we have to. I've been supporting Rick's work with we, because it's only when we start to think of ourselves as we, as opposed to the I, the individual, that the world will change, because it is this, unity, and so I've been supporting that back when the Coalition for One Voice formed. I mean, that was sort of around the time we created that organization. So we've been on parallel paths, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm happy you're throwing these parties, doing your thing and playing your music. So till the next one, Rick.
All right, thank you, Alan. I also want to acknowledge Junali, who has been a supporter of We the World for a long time, since the beginning, since really the beginning.
Thank you, Rick.
Do you want to just say anything you want?
I guess I would say I'm very grateful for We the World because first of all, I don't think all the problems in the world are disconnected, and therefore I don't think the solutions to them can be disconnected. I think people working for solutions need to connect with one another, to share their vision, to share their triumphs, to share their strategies, those that work. And
So I'm grateful to We the World because there are so many single issue organizations which are very, very valuable, but as a person who wants to support change, I wouldn't know which to give to. But when I contribute to We the World, I feel I'm contributing to all of them. I don't have to make a decision, and that's why I'm so grateful to We the World.
Thank you.
From around the world, taking this course on transforming business, society, and self. And this guy named Anu Sharma, who has been a business consultant and a government consultant, is now holding this class that halfway through talking about listening profoundly, talking about the systemic problems that there are beneath all the problems of the world, he holds a 1.5 minute guided meditation online for 40,000 people, talking about grounding yourself, opening to the universe, and co-aligning with the other people in the course. And this is MIT. And I'm just so excited about that as an indicator of what's happening and what's possible as we all pull all of this together in really imaginative ways that the mainstream can listen to and start joining us on this.
All right. Thank you.
Because he's involved with that peace vigil. And I'm involved with it, and I do a peace poem. And most people here have never heard this poem, and that's what I do at the vigil. Rick, I'd like to do my poem that I do at the vigil in honor of your birthday.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. My name, first of all, is Harry Pennsylvania Lichtenstein, and I did write the poem I'm reciting. And at the peace vigil, I do it with some musical accompaniment, which I don't really need, but it works too. Anyway, perspectives. Perspectives don't belong to lifeless void spaces. You can compare yourself to lifeless emptiness, but that comparison is your perspective. You can't escape having perspectives. You're not in an empty void or dead yet. And after death, is there a lifeless void? You don't know. And you do have perspectives. Are perspectives linked in universal consciousness, love, hate, morality, sin, heaven, beauty and ugliness are defined differently in different perspectives. Do truth and reality exist only in perspectives? You exist in mine, and I exist in yours. Do gods exist in ours, and do we exist in God's perspectives? Can science, time or space, atoms and subatomic particles, energy exist in the absence of perspectives? Who you really are is according to you. You can be anything that you imagine. A universe is infinite or finite depending on your perspective. If you are happy and there's no suffering in the universe, then that is your perspective. Wouldn't there be a contradiction in terms of conflicting perspectives? I can be happy according to my perspective, but sad according to yours. The same relationships can be loving, caring, and joyful, or loveless and sad. Perspectives.
But we saw that movie. It was a powerful movie.
It was a very good movie. It's called Bhopal, A Cry for Rain.
Bhopal. It was about Bhopal.
It's about it's an industrial disaster in India. So it's a very powerful film. You get a chance to watch it. So so I have a non-for-profit called Books and Pillows, and we help orphans around the world and teach them to become self-sustainable through entrepreneurship. Last week, a few weeks ago actually, we just received our 501c3 tax exemption. So we're very, very new. I don't know how we're going to work together, Rick, but eventually we're going to let's do it. I'd like to support, what you do as well.
Likewise.
So I believe in all working together for common good.
Okay, thank you. Sharon.
June 2013, I wrote my first article about small business and the politics behind the closings. And so today I turned in the 10th article, and it's all about a bill that was bottled up in City Council for 30 years and wasn't allowed to come to a vote because the real estate industry is so dominant here. So anyway, so now, because of these articles, it's coming to a vote pretty soon, actually.
Wow.
So, I hope you guys will be on board. And when this article comes out, I really made it a moral imperative, and I used the Pope to kind of push this thing forward in this new article. So, it's thevillagers.com. It should come out Thursday, but you never know with this editor. It might come out next week, but hopefully in 2 days. And so what I would like for you to do is go, look at it, and if you like it and share it on your Facebook, because then it goes citywide, because this needs votes for all the city council members from all over the boroughs.
Do you want to say like a summary of what the...
Yes, it's the SBJSA, Small Business Job Survival Act. That's the bill. And what it does is, if you're a business now and your lease is up, you have no rights, 0 rights.